My name is Trevor Russell, and I'm the Director of the Results Investment Group. I've created this short introduction to self-managed super fund property investing video to help you learn a little bit more about how we help people in this space and if this self-managed super fund strategy could be of benefit to you or someone that you know or a client that you represent. I will show you how retiring financially free could be a very real strategy for you when you know how. And just like learning to drive a car, I will show you how you can learn to take advantage of this retirement wealth building strategy too. So with that, let's jump into the presentation. Before we get into it, we've got some serious and important stuff to get out of the way, which is this presentation is for education purposes only and general advice only. It does not consider your personal financial situation, and no warranty is given to the information in this presentation provided. Please always consult a licensed financial professional who understands self-managed super funds and will provide you with unbiased advice before making any decisions. And if you don't have a licensed financial professional to help you to discuss this important topic, I will provide you with details in this presentation so you can speak to one of our representatives to have a discussion and decide if and how this could be a benefit to you. So with the serious stuff out of the way, let's get into the presentation. Let's do some learning. Let's have some fun. Okay, let's go on a little journey. Imagine you're looking back 22 years from now. Now, for some, that seems like a short time. For some, it seems like a long time. And while I've chosen two couples here to represent the story and journey that we're going on, it doesn't matter whether you're single or wherever you are, whatever your denomination is, it's more about just transporting oneself into the future and looking back because time flies, right? So imagine this. It's 22 years in the future and you are looking back and you had $180,000 in a self-managed super fund. Now, one version of you and your partner decided to keep your money in your employer super fund. Now, what would that look like in 22 years? Just working on an average 5% average growth, which is pretty standard for an employee super fund. Let's just look at where you'd be at. 1.126269 million. Not a bad result, right? Pretty good money for retirement. You're in your late 60s, and you've got a pile of money sitting there. So not a bad result. But then look at this couple who decided to take the leap and invest in a $600,000 property in a self-managed super fund property investment. What do you think this couple, what would this version of you have? A $4.4 million asset, which is the house, is what it would be worth, and a $119,000 tax-free rental income. Quite a difference, right? Quite a difference. Sure, you'll be okay, but you're going to have to spend this, whereas this is an asset and income that continues to go up. So which one would you choose? Which person would you prefer to be? Because for many people, they're right here, right now, where they could start putting things in place to get to this place that could be so much better for them in the not too distant future, but some do it and some get busy. But let's look at what you can do if this is going to be relevant to you. Are you or is someone that you know wanting to know how a self-managed super fund works, the risks and the pros and the cons, and if this is something that you can even do? Are you concerned about the returns of your employee superannuation fund? And you want to know your options. You want to know what you can do now so that you don't have to rely solely on government pension come retirement or at all. And I think the big question is, can you benefit from a self-managed super fund investment strategy to build significantly more wealth and enjoy a financially free and stress-free retirement? And while nothing in life is completely stress-free, I can tell you from people that I speak with and we work with, and people that I know very personally that have chosen one path over another. And if you don't know this, the difference in lifestyle and mental health can be vastly different depending on the things that we do now to set oneself up for the future, where they do have money, whether you continue to work or whatever you continue to do, but to have a flow coming in can make a huge difference to one's quality of life. And that's why I'm very passionate about this topic and helping people to retire richer and happier and wealthier. So with that, let's continue. Who are the type of people that we help in this area of self-managed super fund property investing? They're people just like you and me, employed or self-employed business owners who are paying themselves a superannuation contribution as a self-employed person, i.e. business owners, executives from CEOs to all levels of executives, people that work in the mining industry, nurses, admin people, legal services, government employees, IT professionals, people that work in sales and marketing, engineers, professional services, trades, health workers, and the list goes on. They receive a super contribution for 15 or more years, which I'll go more into why the time we have available to us is very important to help make this strategy work. They are generally aged between 20-ish and 50-ish, again, to take advantage of time, and have $100,000 in super or more, whether that's on their own or with a partner combined, but that's really a good starting point to be able to take advantage of this strategy. And they're willing to invest some time now so they have time and money to enjoy a richer retirement later. They want to know their self-managed super fund options, what they can do, how they can do it. Residential, commercial, property, stocks, crypto, managed funds. These are all very doable vehicles to invest in a self-managed super fund, but it's important to know your options and why and what you can do to achieve the end goal and work back. And that's one of the areas I'm very passionate about when it comes to this whole area of self-managed super fund property investing, is to find out what someone wants to achieve and work backwards and say, okay, you want to have $100,000, $200,000 in income and this much asset wealth. How do we work backwards with where you are now to get that end goal? And that is a game changer for people when they know how to do that. These people are busy and they want honest, unbiased help with all the parts that go into making a self-managed super fund work. And even if they're not ready yet, I do speak to people that want to know what they can do to build their super fund capital base and the other parts that go into this strategy so they can get themselves ready to go and take charge of their own retirement wealth building, get the super fund in place, and start doing their investing to build their retirement wealth. Why are more people looking into self-managed super fund investing as a strategy? Well, the numbers are concerning. I extracted some numbers out of the last 2023 superannuation account balance update report, and the statistics and numbers in here are somewhat concerning and staggering, but it doesn't mean that it's all bad news because you're here watching this, and that's a really positive thing. But really, when we look at it, it does make sense that a lot of people are looking at alternatives to their employee super fund. And no disrespect to employee super funds, because they're doing their best, they've got their own regulations and rules to follow, but the good thing is to know our options. But let's look at the numbers. Up to 80% of Australians aged between 65 and 69 have a total cash value of less than $500,000 in super in retirement, with the average of males holding $211,000 in super and women holding $158,000 in $158,000 in superannuation come retirement, which really, let's face it, mid-60s upwards with technology and health and how we're improving, people are living longer. But let's just say someone does have 500,000, and I'm not considering government benefits or anything else they may have, just talking here specifically about super. If you're 67, and let's just say you've got 20 years to live, if you're relying on your superannuation as a big part of your retirement plan, you could be looking like this couple because that is less than $25,000 a year. 25,000. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that's it. You get used to eating baked beans, or it's going to be a challenge. But the good news is there are options. Again, I use the car metaphor. It's starting and going on the journey. You don't need to know all the things at the end. It's just about starting the journey. And if you're here with me, which you obviously are, thank you for watching, because this could be the start of your journey to where you want to go to retire financially free. Let's look at some case studies. We've got a couple here. They are planning. They're currently 52. They've got about 15 years to retirement. We set some goals, and they said they want $2 million or more in assets and $50,000 in income to help them live a more comfortable, financially free retirement. And we looked at their employer fund, and we looked at their strategy to buy an investment property. Now, I've worked 3 scenarios on the same figures to just give you the different variables of time, but starting with this couple and the others, case studies, I've made the people up and I've just changed the time. But let's look at this real deal to start things off. They've got a combined income of $190,000 gross, and they get an 11.5% employer contribution. And they currently have $180,000 in a self-managed super fund account. Now, if they went this route, again, no disrespect to super funds, but this is how it would have been looking. $180,000 over 15 years, work on an average 5% growth, and their contribution after insurances and tax. Yes, you do pay tax on super funds. The employer pays it, but when you have a super fund, you pay it yourself. But the government still takes their 15% tax, and you also insurance. Now, $621,000 in super in 15 years. Now, it's okay, right? But here's the thing. That is spent and goes down in value because you have to spend it. Whereas the property strategy, same numbers, same tax considerations, renting a property at $730,000 over 15 years, $2.5 million plus a $90,000 income. Now, if you don't already know this, and even if you do, as a reminder, what true wealth and financial freedom is, I believe it's income. It's the passive income that we receive from our investment to help us have our lifestyle while enjoying it and not spending our capital, which will eventually run out. And that's why I really like this strategy for the right people with the right numbers, and it works, and they get the responsibility of it because you get capital appreciating growth and you get income that goes up. Yes, you've got to take care of your house, your baby, love it, take care of your tenants. We help with all of that. But it's a little money-making machine that helps you have a better retirement, better quality of life, better night's sleep, all those good things. And that's why I think it's so important that we understand the benefits and why you're here. Let's look at a next option. Gentleman, he's a minor, same numbers, very similar to a gentleman that I was speaking to, but a little bit different on the numbers. 1.1 million in super, again, has to go down. Property investment, 4.8 million with, again, 119,000. Very big difference to see it. And this goes up. This keeps going up. And tax-free income. Yes, it's a long-term goal. Yes, you've got to take care of it. But this can be the benefit for the right people who understand their responsibilities and they have a long-term view, can really benefit from this strategy. Now, this is a game changer. This actually represents a gentleman that I spoke to the other day, 39 years to retirement. Working on very similar numbers, actually. He's got actually a little bit more in super, but the income's about the same. He went we looked at the numbers. If he goes and invests in a $600,000 property today, this is mind-blowing. And this is why one of my friends who's very wealthy, very successfully said, Trevor, never sell your houses, keep them forever. And this is why. 39 years on a 10% average growth, $24 million and a $351,000 income. In 39 years ahead, this is what a house is going to be worth unless the planet cracks in half. But the way that we are moving forward, 10% growth, 6% average rental income, it is mind-boggling to consider. And if we ever speak, I'll show you the difference of how these numbers look just with 5 years less or 5 years more, because the growth compounds at the other end. And that is why this is such a powerful strategy, but it's a long-term strategy. You're not selling this property if you do this in 2 to 5 years. It's a long-term strategy, but the benefits are worth it. It's the richer you want to be, time in the investment is key. So the sooner you do it, the better the result. If I can just take a moment to introduce myself and what we do and why we do what we do. My name is Trevor Russell. I am the director of the Results Investment Group, and I've recently launched the Retire Rich YouTube channel dedicated to this whole topic of better money management, how to retire using a super fund, and speaking to experts and all those things to help us get that education around money and finances, which, let's face it, we simply just don't get in our schooling and education system. It breaks my heart, but that doesn't mean that we can't get it here. And that is what I'm very committed to as part of what I do. What do? We do self-managed super fund education and goal setting. We have an accounting team who can do the setup and the auditing and the management of the super fund. I've had my own self-managed super fund for 14 years. My accountant who does the accounting with us, his audits, manages my fund. It's a very straightforward process, and I understand how it works, but I can reassure you that we know how to do it, and we make sure we do it the right way. I'm also a licensed broker. We can do all forms of home and investment, property lending here. We also have access to a wonderful company that can help with the property sourcing for a self-managed super fund or for investing. And we do property management, which this is my lovely fiancée Marie, and she handles the property management side of things. And my little dog Johnny, he doesn't do much other than look really cute and get lots of cuddles. And again, as I said, very passionate about merging in with the work that we do with our clients around money management, financial literacy, education and coaching to help people make good decisions when it comes to investing, borrowing money, because we want people to live happier, healthier, stress-free lives. How do I know all of this stuff? Well, as I said, I have been a self-managed super fund investor for many years, and while I'm not perfect, I've learned a lot of things on the way. And from the support of a good team and family, it's an honor to be able to do this work, and they're very much my motivation to help more people. And I've got a diploma in finance and mortgage management, a degree in business. I'm a licensed real estate agent. I have worked in the finance, broking, banking, property industry for 27 years, which is getting a bit concerning. I've bought and sold many of my own properties, and I've helped over 300 clients, written lots of loans, done lots of stuff in this space. And again, while I haven't got it all figured out and I'm still always learning, what I can say is I'm very passionate about helping people avoid what I call the train wrecks of life. I will be very honest and say I have made decisions that have cost me substantially by investing in the wrong types of properties, doing the wrong types of things, and taking my eye off the ball, and family members who have chosen a path that has come to cost them deeply from both a health and a mental health perspective. And it could have been avoided just with better support and education. I'm very passionate about people getting honest, unbiased information and advice, and no disrespect to anyone, but to the benefit of you, not to them. If we can help you, we can, but if we can't, I'll be very honest and tell you that we can't. We are experienced, and we have been in the trenches. We know This is important to people, and we want people to make good decisions. We do the best that we can to make this fast and easy for people, but also we are human. It's a complex process, many moving parts, but we do our best to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you as our client. And ultimately, I believe that we can learn from the 10% that do live richer, happier, wealthier lives. And what are they doing to help benefit you to live happier, wealthier, healthier lives? Because let's face it, we all live on this planet under the same tax system, under the same laws, and we've got some people struggling and stuck in financial stress and duress, and we've got others prospering. So is it the system or is it the person? And I know it's the person. It's not the system. It's the way we think. It's the decisions that we make. It's the decisions that we don't make. It's who's got our back, who we're learning from, what we're doing and what we're not doing. Committed to helping you succeed. Nice to share an endorsement from a client of ours. She's 40 and she's on her way to retire with $4 million in asset wealth and over $110,000 in tax-free rental income. And as she shares in this endorsement, she didn't know anything about this. She'd heard about self-managed super fund property investing. We met with her. She's now got a plan, and she's on her way to retire very, very financially free. But she took the step. Instead of, committing all the time to whatever people do with their time, she invested some time into herself, and now she's putting things in place and she's on her way. And it's like anything. Once you know how to do it and you've got things set up, it's not like you have to do it every day. It's just starting and getting things moving. And if that's something we can help you with, it'd be a pleasure. Real quick, because we've been here for a while, these are our 5 steps to making self-managed super fund property investing easier for you. I'm not going to bore you with all these details because that is something that we'll go through when we speak and meet. But just to let you know today, where we're at here is just opening the door to educating you on this topic of self-managed super fund. And if you want to have a chat and learn more, I'll share with you what we can do in a moment. But it's really understanding, is this for you? And then getting some goals and plans in place. And then you can give that to your advisor or give it to ours, and you can both meet and talk. And then going about setting up the entity, and we look at setting up the loans, and then we go to the next step. But really, all the things that you need to do fall into these 5 steps. So when you do everything along this journey, you get to celebrate at the other end because you started. And that is key. It is starting the journey that matters. Now, what can we do? Is this right for you? Well, firstly, I would like to say thank you, high five, for investing some time into yourself and learning more about this whole self-managed super fund space. Is it right for you? Well, the first thing I'd like you to ask yourself is, what are your retirement goals? Do you know? Do you know how much you want to have? Do you want to have income? How much do you want? By when? What are we working with? Because I'm telling you, honestly, I would say 90+% of people that I talk to about this topic of self-managed super fund, investing, retirement wealth, when I ask them this question, they don't know. And I'm not being disrespectful to anyone, but if you don't have a target, how can you ever hit it? And this is an exercise I would give you. If you do have an employee super fund, and I'm sure you do if you're watching this, call them and ask them, how much will my fund be worth in X amount of years? And then decide if that's the amount you want and you can live off, and is that going to be enough for you? Do that. And if you want, when we do our strategy session, if you do one with us, I'll show you what that's going to be. You can give me the numbers and we can calculate it for you. Which leads me to the next point. If you would like to do a self-managed super fund, learn about it, education, little planning, goal setting projection session with me, I'll provide a link below, which you'll see. You can click and book into my calendar. And we'll do a 45-minute session. We'll have a chat. We'll discuss your goals and plans. We'll review the numbers. We'll do some projections. You will know your options, and you'll know how to start, when to start, and then you can take that plan and you can go and have a think about it and discuss it with your advisor or discuss it with ours. And then from there, you can decide if and how you'd like to proceed. And if you want our help, it is the right time or it's not the right time. But we simply start there. Just keep it very simple, very easy. And this you can do. This you can do, which is start and have a look, which is the beginning of any journey. Not knowing every step of the whole journey, just the start. Because here's the thing. I'll share this with you in a moment, actually, about mindset. By the way, the pack. You'll also get, when we speak, you will get the Self-Managed Super Fund Retire Rich Starter Pack, bit of a tongue twister. And I've created a comprehensive guide which goes through all the details of what is a super fund, how to set it up, contributions, borrowing money, what houses can you buy, your responsibility, tax benefits, compliance, and everything else that you need to know about self-managed super fund investing done the right way, the compliant way, and the best way. And that's all in the guide. Clearly not for us to talk about today because it's a very big topic. The other thing that you'll get as part of the starter pack is we will do projection for you, and I'll give you a copy of that. Again, as I said, working with the end in mind. Where do we want to go? Not just where you're at now, but what do you want to have? If you had $150,000 income coming in tax-free, would that be enough to free you? But we have to look at it now. And then what are we starting with? What have you got? What do you need to do? And then you've got that, and then you can go look at it, consider it, talk to your advisor, and get the machine moving, get it working. The next thing is you'll get a copy of the 5 steps, and that will be a little checklist that you can work through so you can see the whole picture of what you're doing at each step. So it's understandable, it's digestible, and you go, okay, we're at 1, we're at 2, we're at 3. We've got things to do, but you know where you're going and why you're going there, and it's not that hard. Once you know how, it's not that hard, I assure you. If you can drive a car, if you've got bank accounts, you've bought a home, you do your job, you can do this. It's just learning a new skill. You can do this. You can learn this. Now, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you. This presentation's gone a little bit longer than I imagined, but it is an important topic, and I do believe it's worth 35 minutes of your time. Why most people struggle and only less than 10% will prosper financially. Same tax system, same government, same country. Why is it that 10% or less will prosper financially and the rest will struggle? And while it is a big topic and there's a lot of elements that contribute to this, as a big overarching reason why I know this is the case, the stressed and struggling believe these stories and doubts of fear, and they put everything else first because of these fears and doubts. Oh, it's too overwhelming. Where do you start? I don't know if it's right. I'm too scared. What if I fail? What if I lose my money? It's a scam, and I just can't think about it. Employee super funds are fine. It'll all work itself out. I've got to take care of the kids. I've got to do my job. I've got to make sure I get those reports in. They will do everything else first before working on their own wealth creation plans because of doubt and fear. Whereas the 10% who are the financially freer and the wealthier and happier, it's not that they don't have those fear stories, but it's a luxury they can't afford. They ignore them, and they put themselves and their family and their wealth creation plans first. They do their job. They take care of their kids. I know these people. You might be one of them. They do everything, but they find the time to also work on their own wealth creation plans, and they give up a Saturday for a few hours. They give up a night now and then. They give up 30, 40 minutes to learn more about what they can do to be wealthier, happier, and richer. They put the time in, and then they take action, because you can have all the knowledge in the world. You can watch all the videos. You can do all the stuff. But until you take that first step and then the next and the next, while you're scared, while it feels new and uncomfortable. But I assure you, you can do this. And fear, I believe, is one of the biggest killers of dreams. To the unskilled and the uninitiated who believe what they think is true when it simply isn't, are the ones that struggle and ones that fail. Because like anything that you learn that's important, it's going to be scary in the beginning, but as you get better at it, like driving a car, you now just do it. 14 million Australians receive superannuation in some form. 610,000, last report, have a self-managed super fund that they're using to help them retire wealthier. 7.8% of our population that is receiving superannuation. I guess that's why the saying is so true. If you want better, do what the masses won't do. So whatever you're doing, and if this resonates with you and the numbers and who you are is aligning for this to be possible, because I get this is not for everyone, and that's totally fine. But if this is feeling that it is for you, or you already know that, and you've got to do some things, be a pleasure to help you, whether you do them with us or whoever you choose, but please do something, because things can be better, so much better, that it has to start now, not later. What's your reason why? Why are you doing this? Why would you make the extra effort? Why would you be willing to do what 90% of people figure out a reason why they can't do it? And why would you do it over fear and every reason that other people are telling themselves they can't? Why would you be willing to invest some time to learn and build your retirement wealth? How would you celebrate? This is my good friend Mark. I did a YouTube interview with him, and he's got a super fund. He's got one property, and his wise he wants to have 3 cruises a year with his partner, and he wants to know he's got enough money to live a comfortable life, have his cruises, give some to his kids, and that's his reason why, and that's how he's celebrating. So what would you be willing to do now to reward yourself for being brave and patient and responsible and sticking with your plan so you can turn your retirement wealth creation goals into reality? And that only you know. And maybe I'll get to speak with you and find out what that is, and be a pleasure to find out if we can help you make it a reality. Which path will you choose? Will you choose this one and start? Because that you can do. You can pick the path or that. That is entirely up to you. The details below are to book a session, and the rest I'll hand over to you. But please be someone that at least knows their options and understands that you do have options. Is it going to be a bit uncomfortable? Maybe. Is it going to be new? Maybe. Is it possible? Possibly. But that's what we find out. And if you're dead certain that you want to do this and you do want to get started, we'll book in too. I look forward to speaking with you, and I love this work. I love helping people. I don't have all the answers. I'm not perfect. We're human too, but we're very passionate about what we want to do, because I want people to live richer, happier, healthier lives, and I want that for me, and I want that for you. And please reach out. Be a pleasure to help you and talk about this very important topic. You have a wonderful day, and let's make this happen for you.